Hello, good morning children. Today I am going to explain you class 7th history 7th chapter tribes, nomads and settled communities part 1. Okay, what is the previous lesson? It's a towns, traders and craft persons, everything you have learned about the merchants and how the new towns and traders emerged like that. What were the conditions you have learned? Now you are going to learn about these tribal people, nomads and settled communities. How the common people in the kingdoms, how they have survived. Everything you will learn in this chapter. You saw in chapters 2, 3 and 4 how kingdoms rose and fell. Even as this was happening, new arts, crafts, and production activities flourish in towns and villages. So, kings will come and go, kingdoms will rise and fall, but common people lives will be the same. So, here, what were the lives of these craft persons? Everything you have learned in 6th chapter. Over the centuries, important political, social, and economical developments had taken place. But social change was not the same everywhere because different kinds of societies evolved differently. Okay, maybe in some places new craft persons made new things, but it is not the same in all the kingdoms. Okay, it is important to understand how and why this happened. Why in kingdoms some people were encouraged and some people were not encouraged. You will see. In large parts of the subcontinent, society was already divided according to the rules of Varna. So, in some kingdoms, society was divided according to based on the Varna, rules of Varna. These rules, as prescribed by the Brahmanas, were accepted by the rulers of large kingdoms. Already in all your history lessons, these Brahmins, they have prepared Varna system, and those rules were accepted by the rulers also. The difference between the high and low and between the rich and poor increased. Under the Delhi Sultans and the Mughals, this hierarchy between social classes grew further. Okay, under the Delhi Sultans, this social difference, the rich and poor, the wealthy and the high people and the low community, like the differences have grew very further. Let's see. Beyond big cities, tribal cities. Okay, beyond big cities, tribal societies. How? In already now only I have said that during the Mughal ruling time, these differences, social differences grew rather. Then what about the tribal people? Let's see. What about the tribal societies? Let's see. Tribal societies. There were, however, other kinds of societies as well. Many societies in the subcontinent did not follow the social rules and rituals prescribed by the Brahmins. Only in those kingdoms who accepted the kings, who accepted the rules of Brahmanas, there only that much differences are there. But in some tribal societies, these rules were not accepted. In the some, I will write children here. Some societies not accepted Varna system, not accepted Varna system, which was done by Brahmanas. Why should we follow this Varna system? Why they have to divide Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaisyas, Shudras like that? We won't follow. We, the people are same like that. Some tribal societies fell and they have rejected this Varna system. Okay. Many societies in the subcontinent did not follow. Societies not accepted or did not follow the Varna system or the social rules prescribed by the Brahmins. Nor were they divided into numerous unequal classes, and they were not divided into unequal classes. There were no Varna system, so no division also will be there. Okay. Such societies are often called tribes. So that societies are called as tribes. Okay. There were no rich people and no poor people, no high caste and no lower caste. So the people who did not follow the Varna system, who not accepted the rules made by the Brahmins, those societies are called as tribes. Members of each tribe were united by kinship bonds. Many tribes obtained their livelihood from agriculture. Only common relationship is there among them. There are no caste system, no social differences. All of them are bonded with kinship. That means natural bond, natural friendship is there among them. And many of them have taken their livelihood as agriculture. Agriculture is their livelihood. All are equal in the work. Agriculture is their livelihood. They have done this agriculture. All of them together, commonly they have done agriculture. Others were hunter-gatherers or herders. Most often, they combined these activities to make full use of the natural resources of the area in which they lived. See, so in these tribal societies only, how they have moderated their lives, you can observe, children. Many of them taken agriculture as their livelihood, and hunters and gatherers and herders. Okay, and sometime all of these work together to make full use of the natural resources. Some tribes were nomadic and moved from one place to another. So here some tribes who were not done agriculture or herders, some of them they have taken these option of nomadic. Nomadic means taking the animals from one place to rearing the animals and taking them from one place to another place. A tribal group controlled land and pastures jointly and divided these amongst households according to its own rules. Here, nomadic herding means what they have done, they have taken some area and they divided it into equal parts, and each part is given to one person, and they can keep here fodder for their animals. So this is nomadic herding. Land will be divided into equal parts and they can grow grass here for the animals' food. And they will function with according to their own rules. Many large tribes thrived in different parts of the subcontinent. They usually lived in forests, hills, deserts and places difficult to reach. So here their living places also see forests, hills, deserts and places difficult to reach. So in these places only, because they don't like to live in common places, that's why they used to live in forests, hills, deserts and the places which are difficult to reach. Sometimes they clashed with the more powerful caste-based societies. So if in nearby places, in caste-based societies are there, means they crashed. Crashed means they got disputes with those societies also. Caste-based societies. In various ways, the tribes retained their freedom and preserved their separate culture. But they have their own system, their own culture, and they will give importance to their culture. But the caste based and tribal societies also depended on each other for their diverse needs. Of course, they haven't followed this Varna system and their culture was separate and they lived separately. But for their common needs, for their desired things, they have to keep contacts with the normal societies which are following the Varna system. Caste based societies, they have to maintain some relations with these tribal people. Tribal people only maintain relations. Both of them worked together. But the caste-based and tribal societies also depended on each other for their diverse needs. This relationship of conflict and dependence gradually caused both societies to change. So, when people are working together, when different communities, there will be changes will be there. Yes or not? If we take example as suppose Hindus and Muslims are working together, are living in one apartment means both neighboring means some Muslims will adapt Hindu culture, some they will participate in Hindus feasts, and at the same time Hindu people will participate in their functions and Muslims feasts also. Like that, here also dependence or some other reasons may lead them to change in their systems. Who were tribal people? Who were these? Let's see. Who were tribal people? Now they are giving you very detailed. Contemporary historians and travelers give very scanty information about tribes. Those historians, they have given very scanty, that means very less information. Why? Because these people are very common. Historians and chroniclers, they used to write the stories of kings and kingdoms only, no? That's why they are famous people. They were, by that time nobody has shown interest to write the lifestyles of the common people. You know, already in 6th class in the introduction chapters you have learned this matter. So we got very less information about these tribal people. A few exceptions apart, tribal people did not keep written records, and moreover these tribal people also not educated, so they don't have written records also. We have inscriptions, manuscripts and handwriting books also there for evidences. But in tribal people, as they are uneducated, they don't have any written records and we don't have resources also to study on them. With whatever the scanty information what we are having, with that only we are analyzing their lives. But they preserved rich customs and oral traditions. These were passed down to each new generation. But what they have done, from elders to next generation, everything they have taught. They taught to their next generations orally. See, in elders in big families means they will teach everything to smaller, younger ones. Like that, they have preserved their culture orally and they passed their culture to the following generations. These were passed down to each new generation. Present day, historians have started using such oral traditions to write tribal histories. So, now our historians, what they are doing, they are going to these tribal people and whatever, now the old people or younger generations, whatever they have learnt from their culture, now our historians collecting information from them and writing and preserving them in documents, written documents, so that at least the new generation people can know about these tribal people more detail. Tribal people were found in almost every region of the subcontinent. The area and influence of a tribe varied at different points of time. Some powerful tribes controlled large territories. In Punjab, the Khokar tribe was very influential during the 13th and 14th centuries. So, in different places, different tribal people are there. Now, they have given an example in Punjab, Khokar. What is that spelling? Yes, Khokar. They are very important tribal people in Punjab. Okay, Khokar, one type of tribal people. In which times? 13th and 14th century. 13th and 14th centuries. Okay, during the time of 13th and 14th centuries in Punjab, Khokar tribes were very famous. And later, the Gakhars became more important. Khokar after Gakhar. Their chief, Kamal Khan Gakhar, was made a noble by Emperor Akbar. So, Khokar after Gakhar. You know already Mughal king Akbar. So, from this Gakhar tribal family, Kamal Khan Gakhar. He was done by noble, that means Mansabdar. So, you can observe children. See, Akbar, Mughal emperor made one tribal person as Mansabdar. That means how? Of course, they are tribal people. Then also, how much efficiency they have shown and how he has become Mansabdar, we can imagine. Yes or not? Kamal Khan Gakhar. That means by that time, they are also very powerful people in warrior skills. Maybe for that reason only, Akbar made this person as his Mansabdar to that area. In Multan and Sindh, the Langhas and Arghuns dominated extensive regions before they were subdued by the Mughals. So, before the Mughals, these areas were, Multan and Sindh were controlled by Langhas and Arghuns. The Balochis were another large and powerful tribe in the northwest. Balochis, all these names will be different children, but all these were tribal people, different types of tribal societies, and they were also very powerful in these Balochis in northwest. Northwest means Gujarat side only. Okay, Rajasthan, Gujarat, like that. They were divided into many smaller clans under different chiefs. Clans, you know now, while playing chess, you know the meaning of clan. That means small army power, gathering army power and attacking other clan. In the western Himalaya lived the shepherd tribe of Gaddis. In Himalayas, western Himalaya sides, there shepherds are there, shepherd tribes. What are they? Gaddis. What are their name? Gaddis. The distant northeastern part of the subcontinent too was entirely dominated by tribes, the Nagas, Ahoms and many others. Eastern part means this, eastern side states. So, there Nagas, Ahoms and many other group of tribes. So, in different areas, different types of tribal people lived there. In many areas of present day Bihar and Jharkhand, Chiro chiefdoms had emerged by the 12th century. Raja Man Singh, Akbar's famous general, attacked and defeated the Chiros in 1591. So, Akbar's minister, one of the minister, Raja Man Singh, he defeated the Chiros. That means he captured those Chiros kingdom, tribal society. A large amount of booty was taken from them. Booty means forest produce, children. But they were not entirely subdued. Of course, they have looted the forest produce, but they have not surrendered to that Raja Man Singh. Many of them escaped from the kings. Under Aurangzeb, Mughal forces captured many Chiro fortresses and subjugated the tribe. The Mundas and Santals were among the other important tribes that lived in this region and also in Orissa and Bengal. So, difference. Santals and Mundals in which place, children? Orissa and Bengal. So these are the different types of tribal people, tribes. The Maharashtra highlands and Karnataka were home to Kolis, Berats and numerous others. Kolis also lived in many areas of Gujarat. So these Kolis, they used to live in Gujarat. Further south, there were large tribal populations of Koragas, Vetars, Marwars and many others. The large tribe of Bhils was spread across western and central India. Okay, Bhils, western and central India means middle Maharashtra, like that. By the late 16th century, many of them had become settled agriculturists and some even zamindars. So, by the 16th century, what it happened? Many of them has become, they had become agriculturalists and many zamindars also. Many Bhil clans nevertheless remained hunter-gatherers, but some of them remained as hunter-gatherers only. The Gonds were found in great numbers across the present-day states of Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. Of course, some of them settled, some of them earned little amount and land, but some of them are still moving, still roaming, and still some of them are working as laborers and are shepherds and rearing animals. Like that, these tribal societies settled. Now, how nomads and mobile people lived. So, till now, I think you have understood different types of tribal people. They have given introduction, children. Remaining part, I will explain in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.